How's it going? Well, I'll probably be a little bit quiet and you'll get a lot of close-ups here. I've snuck down to the Park Lake, a little bit of after work fishing as best I can, looking for some stalking opportunities. I've got the light action rod, the light reel, and a couple of pieces of sinking rubber corn, just hair rigged to a, I guess it's like a size 10 or size 12 Raven octopus hook. So I've just already looked at the one end of the lake where I normally start, usually get a fish or two. It's completely packed with people feeding ducks. So not so good right now because it's unusually busy for a Monday evening, but excellent for about an hour from now when all those people take off. I've already seen a couple of fish swimming around below those ducks, so I know that they're going to be digging around in there for a while. So I'm heading down to the other end. You know, we've done some video down there before. You've seen me catch some really good fish down there. I just wanted to get set up before I actually made it to that spot. So the plan is to walk around. I've got 2 hours. That's it. Then it'll be too dark to really stalk, you know, very well. Just the light levels will be too low. I won't be able to see anything. So I'm going to prime a few spots with a little bit of just, you know, kernels of corn. That's it. Little bag in my pocket. I'm just going to toss some in a few spots to try and hold fish if I see them there. And I'm going to do a couple of laps, probably 3 or 4 laps in the 2 hours, and see how many fish we can get. Oh, he's putting his nose down. A little bit shaky there, but I'm going to get a cast at that fish and see what happens. So close. First cast, he just ducked and turned right away. Second cast, I got just past him, and he nosed to it and then turned at the last second. So, you know, I'm using 6-pound test. The line might be a little bit heavy. The water is crystal clear. So the best thing we can do right now is prime the spot with a bit of corn. The ducks are going to move around. It's going to make the carp a little bit less spooky if the ducks are there. And we'll come back up here in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on how well we do. Down at the next few spots. So let's keep moving. Now this spot is a really good spot. I got an 18-pounder, 18 and change, 2 months ago from this spot, doing the same thing, just a little bit of stalking. It's usually good for a bite. I've just come up and I didn't see anything at first, but then I noticed one, maybe little guy, little baby carp. So they are coming through here. So I'm going to prime this spot. I'm going to watch it for a few minutes and see if any fish pass through. And yeah, just kind of expecting something to show up. So we'll try it out and see what happens. Well, that was fast. I only just threw a little bit of corn out there just to prime the spot, and the little carp took off. But a couple of really nice suckers moved in almost immediately. So the suckers here are really shy, so I just want to see if I can get their interest. The corn I'm using is really slow sinking. There's one in there probably about 2 pounds, another one about a pound and a half. that would be a treat. But they're ducking down, they're grabbing the corn, they're stirring things up, they're moving off, so that'll help draw over some more carp. Just need to get one of them to bite, because I would love to catch one. Right there, that's all it is. Just made a hair out of the mono, knotless knot, to 3 pieces of slow sinking rubber corn. Really, really rubbery. Really nice, supple stuff. Okay, so I crawled into another spot. There's a fish. Just about to say I primed the spot. And I sat here for about 5 minutes hoping the fish would come to me. And sure enough, one did. Fish. The light tackle and all these weeds, I'm a little bit worried. It's not bad at all. See a little bit of the battle. A little bit big for this net. A lot bigger than I was expecting. Gotta back up and fit him in the frame. Not a bad fish at all. Nice and thick too. Beauty fish. That was fun. A little bit unexpected, but it shows that the tactic is working right. I had a couple of onlookers that just took a moment to speak to. Very nice people. I just wanted to know about the carp itself. You know, they see them all the time back home at the commercial lakes back in the UK, but they're just not used to seeing them here. So what I had done, as I mentioned, I'm going around and priming a few spots, and this spot I come up on, I'm about 50 feet from finishing the last little turn on my first pass around the park lake here. And like I said before, I'm pretty sure I mentioned I had seen like 2 carp and a couple of suckers, and that was it. So I knew I was going to find a group of them. The question was when. And, you know, getting to the end of the first lap, it had to have happened soon. And as I'm approaching this spot, I didn't see a single fish moving. But just up from me where I'm going to, I saw one rise. So I knew they had to be circling around here, and the weeds that are normally here are cleared away from me, right in front where they would normally be quite thick, and I have to fish on the other side of them. So what I did is I threw a few handfuls of corn. I sat here for about 5-6 minutes, just watching to see if a fish would come in. And sure enough, one did come in, but he didn't look that big. He looked actually maybe around the 5 or 6 pound mark. So I just cast the little pieces of rubber corn out into the middle of where I put that little bit of bait. And I just turned the camera on to just start telling you about how, you know, I'm priming a spot. I got a couple of fish starting to move in. And it ripped off as I was setting the camera up. It turned out to be a nice fish, maybe about 11 pounds or so. I know it was low doubles. It was good, solid fish, but far bigger than I thought it was. So either there's another fish over there still, or my eyes just can't tell the size when they're in the water. So I'm going to stick it out here for another couple of minutes. Let me just wing another quick cast out into that spot, because if there isn't a fish or 2 in there, in the time it took me to fight that fish, they may have cleaned out that corn and are waiting for another one to drop. My cast, you know, it's very light. I got 1 split shot and there's 2 rubber corn. I'm only getting out maybe 20 yards. Yep. There's fish. Oh, I knew it. There was another one there. Oh, he's cutting those weeds. He's a bigger fish. Feels bigger anyway. That didn't take long at all. Oh, this one looks a little bit darker and nicer. I've got some gorgeous fish in this place, you know, as a kid and, you know, in my teen years. But even though the numbers of fish are down in this park, they're not what they used to be. I find that some of them are actually starting to get quite big. You know, last year I had, I think, 3 between 18 and 21 pounds. Some of these fish are really starting to look old, really dark chestnut color. I think I better pay attention to this fish. Just trying to get in this bush or something.
Oh, I had a good look at him so far. I don't think he's as big as the first one, but his tail is really big for his size, so he's a lot stronger. This fish is every bit the same size as that first one. Again, probably, oh, this one's even thicker actually. Probably just low mid double, maybe 13, 14 pounds. Oh, absolute stunning dark chestnutty color on the back. Unfortunately, from what I can see on the camera, the light's not doing this fish justice. It is a gorgeous fish. It's two about the same size in quick succession. I'm tempted to see if there's another one in that spot, but I'm also tempted to move to the other side and see if those spots that I primed earlier are starting to pull fish in. So I'm gonna put this one back. Maybe take one more cast, see what happens. Boy. Hot night. Really worked up a sweat on that one. And it does look like there's another fish or two bubbling around in that spot. So I'm gonna take a few minutes, check my line, make sure there's no tears or anything in it from the weeds over here, and I want to get another one bad. Maybe a small one. Give me a break. Having disturbed it, I might have pushed the fish up further into where I saw them as I come to this spot. So we'll go a minute or two here, and then we'll move up to that spot. Start our next lap. Back in the first spot that I stopped at, I primed up. It just come up on a really nice sized fish, probably about a 15 or 16 pounder. And he just kept zipping back and forth. I would cast him with his nose up to it, and then he would take off. So as I got up to where I had thrown the bait in earlier, it's completely cleaned out, just black with silt stirred up. And right now I threw a little bit more in to prime it up, and the ducks could just come cruising in. But like I mentioned, the carp get a little bit more comfortable when the ducks are on top of them because they know there's food around. They also know I can't get a cast through the ducks. I'm not willing to cast while the ducks are right there. But he just keeps making this pass. I've had him come at my bait 3 times and turn away at the last second. So I figure if I get some bait in his next pass through, he'll find it, and that's when I can get him. So I'm going to wait a few minutes for these ducks to clear out. Hopefully that fish will come back. We're really starting to lose the light level, so I want to get to those spots and get right back around to where I caught those fish before it gets too late and the camera doesn't pick up the light enough. Now it looks like the ducks are diving on the corn. We might have to move sooner than planned. Well, light levels are really fading fast. So rather than do a full lap, I did half a lap down to some of the spots I primed, and I'd see one fish here or one fish there, and they'd move away really quickly. So they're still really skittish, and even though they're cleaning out the bait, the sight of the falling corn didn't actually attract them. It really set them off, and they took off. So I'm heading back up to the spot where people were feeding the ducks when I first arrived. We'll see if those fish are still moving around there, because now that it's a little bit darker, people don't tend to be up in that end this late. So I'll check that spot real quick, see what happens, and if there's nothing there, we'll go back to where I got those two fish, which is pretty much directly across from where I am now. I'm looking over there, and there's no people, no ducks, so it's probably been quite quiet since I left it, so the fish should be right back in there. So let's move. Okay, I just come around to another area, like I mentioned, where the people were feeding the ducks this morning. As soon as I walked up, I spooked 3 little carp. Right off the bat, they saw me and they gunned it out of here. So I just put a little bit of corn in, and they came in without a care in the world. They saw it falling and they went after it. So I'm going to drop this in and see if they'll take it. Just little guys. They got in there and got their heads down because they followed all the corn as it sounded. Just kind of moving around. It's all clouded up from all the ducks and stuff, so the visual part of it's not quite the same. Oh, I can see it in there. Looks like they're darting in and out. Well, I never did make it to that spot that I got those 2 fish. I've just been stalking them along this one little run of water where I am now. And yeah, the fish are just outwitting me. I stumbled across, I don't know, about 20 fish in this little stretch. And every one of them have been wise to the bait. So unfortunately, I have yet to pull another one out. And you know, being that I'm using visual tactics, I think I'm pretty much done for the night. So you know, if I get one, you know, just after dark, great. Might not be able to show it to the camera, but you know, we had a successful session of stalking. You just had to find the fish first. You know, there was a few roamers here and there, but once I got into that small group, never did find the big pot of fish, but I got into that small group and got 2 really quality fish out of it. So I'm quite pleased. It did work. It was a lot of fun. Great way to kill a couple hours after work. And you know, here's hoping we'll get that last bite. You know, every single time I'm out, it's always, you know, just can I get that last bite? But I know there's a few fish still roaming around up here, so hopefully we got one more little take. But I had fun. Good evening. Quality fish. I just love stalking in the clear water in the small park lakes. Time well spent. Until next time.